Welcome back to I Make Beer. So today I'm making probably one of my favorite beers, especially this time of year, Scotch Ale.
Look at that. Full of iron, that is. It takes a while, that does, you know, to settle.
Well, Charlie Richardson said we're to knock the granny out of you, Reg.
Oh, yeah, he did he? That's good of him. Right, listen.
I've made Scotch Ales several times. They always come out very good. I have a lot of close friends that are huge Scotch Ale drinkers, so they like it when I make it because I give a lot of it away. Also, Rochester is a very Scotch Ale friendly city. We have several breweries that make phenomenal Scotch Ales. Genesee Brew House being one of them, where I work. This actual Scotch Ale recipe, I am using Dean Jones, who's the master brewer at Genesee Brewery, Pilot or Brew House. I'm using his water profile. So I've never used his water profile. This is something that he gave some home brewers that came in. We had a little water chemistry class with Dean, and he gave us some examples, and this happened to be one of them. And considering I like the Scotch Ale that he makes, and I like the Scotch Ale that I make, I thought I'd give his water profile a shot. So this one is going to be 75 parts per million of calcium, 8 parts per million of magnesium, no sodium, 99 parts of chloride, 76 parts SO4, and 0 bicarbonate. So obviously I had to start out with my distilled water. My distilled water I've had tested. I distill my own. I don't buy it. So I've actually sent my distilled water out to get tested just to see exactly where it was. And mine has I think maybe 2 or 3 parts per million of bicarbonate in it. So I'm not going to actually hit that 0, but that's the profile if you guys want to try. And I'm shooting for about a 5.3 mash, pH in my mash. I'll go over the recipe, and you probably just saw that the parts per million popped up when I was talking about it. I'll go over the recipe real quick. Now, this is a Scotch Ale recipe that I've changed. This is not my typical Scotch Ale that I usually do every year. So this recipe that I'm doing, actually I was going to use Maris Otter. And when I had placed an order with More Beer, they sent me an email saying that they were out of stock of Maris Otter. So I didn't end up getting any. I had ordered a bunch of other things from them, so I didn't want to cancel it and try to go to somebody else and then get it from them. And so I just said, skip it, I'll get it later. So I'm going to end up using 2-row, which in the past I've always used 2-row. This actually would have been the first time of using Maris Otter, and I guess I'm not gonna. So anyways, this recipe calls for 17 pounds, 6.3 ounces of 2-row. Calls for 1 pound, 5.5 ounces of caramel crystal 50/60, which I have. 10.9 ounces of brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar. I was going to originally use dark, and I didn't have any, so I had to use light, which actually brought me back into the correct SRM, because with the dark brown sugar, I actually overshot the SRM. Switching over to the light brown sugar brought me back into that range, so we're good on that end. And then I'm using 5.3 ounces of chocolate malt. Mine is about a 500L. My original recipe was pretty simple. So it called for 18 pounds, 2 ounces of 2-row, 1 pound, about 13 ounces of crystal malt 40, and then it called for 9.9 ounces of roasted barley. So this has no roasted barley. The one I'm doing now has no roasted barley in it. And my crystal is just a little bit darker. It's 50/60 where the other one was 40. My original recipe didn't call for brown sugar. This one does. And this actually uses less. I got more. No, we're a little bit more pound-wise total fermentables. My old recipe called for 20. Oh no, I'm less. This recipe calls for about 19 and 3/4 pounds of in the grain bill, And my old one was 20 pounds and about 20 pounds and a half in the grain bill. So this one actually is going to come out to 8.3%, hopefully. My old recipe should have come out to 7.9%. This one, my recipe I'm doing now, we're just going to concentrate on that and ignore the old recipe I was talking about. This recipe here, oh shit, we're up to temperature. I'm actually going to pull off, and I'm going to do it right now. I got to pull off 0.2 gallons. I'm actually going to pull off about a half gallon. With the amount of grain I'm putting in, this is like going to be maxed out. So I got to pull some of the water out before I add my grist. So I'm going to do that now. So considering there was so much grain, I actually couldn't fit it all in the 5-gallon pail. So I had to dump a little bit into the basket just to get it so it wouldn't overflow my pail.
And here you can see my pH, 5.47. Now, I had said earlier that I had pulled off about a half gallon of the water after I'd added my salts. And here I'm just adding that water back, pouring it over the top of my mash, and let it drain. It's sort of my Vorloff, I guess we'll call it. And then I squeeze the basket with a large pot cover that I have and just sort of squeeze the rest of that wort out of it.
I know some people add like sugar and stuff at the end of the boil, like the last 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to add it at the beginning. Actually, I'm going to add it before it starts to boil, so I'm not burning it. And hopefully we can get it stirred in. And now with the sugar in, I'm going to take another gravity reading. 106.8. And we're supposed to be at 107.0. So we're close, and it might go up. I don't know if that's all dissolved in there yet. So anyways, the hops that we're going with are East Kent. I'm only doing a 60-minute addition on this. I'm adding 2 different East Kent hops because I had some 6.8 alpha acid left. So I am actually adding 0.2 ounces of my 6.8 alpha acid East Kent. And then the other one is a 4.3, I believe. And that's 2.3 ounces. So total is 2.5 ounces. Just a little mixture of alpha acid just because I wanted to use up what I had left. And I'll tell you what, this does smell good. So after a boil over, I'm now adding my first and only edition of East Kent Golden. So they are in. Now I got to clean up a mess. All right, so we got about 15 minutes left in the boil. I'm adding my Werflock and my yeast nutrient. The boil's done. I took a gravity reading and I'm like 107.9. I'm supposed to be 109.0. So we are going to go anyways because I'm way below volume, except for what's in the hose and the pump. So I'm just going to have to go with it. It's going to be a little light, but not too bad. It was supposed to be, like I said, 109.0, and it's just under 108.0. So right now we're just chilling. Got my hops waiter. I hang it here, let it drain a little bit before I chuck it. But it is smelling good. It is smelling good. All right, the brew day's done. I got the wort in the fermenter. It's aerating right now. I did not do a yeast starter last night. I forgot all about it. And so I had to start that this morning. I am still waiting for the yeast pouch to finish expanding. Then I'll dump it into the starter that I made. So I'll add the yeast in tomorrow, even though right now the temperature that I had coming out of my plate chiller is 68, 69 degrees. It's ready to go. So we will add the yeast starter tomorrow and then probably be back in 2 weeks before we see the finished product. I want this done by New Year's Eve, but we'll see. Anyways, catch you at the tasting. All right, so we finished up the Scotch Ale, and here she is. Got to be honest, probably one of the best Scotch ales I've made so far. And I changed up the recipe. So you definitely will want to look at the recipe down below. Check that out. I have not sent this around to too many people. A couple of guys at the bar at the brew house last night tried it. Everyone liked it, but they're not my go-tos for the Scotch ales. I have a couple of people that are big Scotch ale drinkers, and I value their opinion. And haven't had them try it yet. So, but I like it, and I value my opinion. So, anyways, the Scotch Ale came out. Original gravity was 1085, and it finished up at 1023. It's an 8.1%. It's 30 IBUs, and it's 24 SRMs. And BJCP guidelines say the original gravity should be between 1070 and 1130. As I said, mine's 1085, so we're right there. It's supposed to finish up between 1018 and 1040. That's a big range, too, 1018 to 1040. But mine's at 1023. And ABV is 6.5 to 10, and mine's 8.1. IBU is 17 to 35. I'm at 30. I wanted mine a little higher. I had thought this was going to come out a higher final gravity, even though 1023 is good. I'm happy with that number. I thought it was going to come out to closer to the 1030. And so I wanted to keep the IBUs higher to sort of balance out that sweetness. But it worked out well, either way. So, and then SRMs are 14 to 25, and mine are 24. So I wanted to go on the darkest side, which it is. It's very dark. With the light behind it, it's a brown and a slight rubiness to it. Tan head. Usually the Scotch Ale, the head does not stay very persistent. But we do have some lacing on the glass, so that's a good characteristic of the Scotch Ale. Aroma. So you're getting a little bit of that toffee, that caramel. You're getting that malty. A little bit of maybe some dried fruit. Yeah, just a touch. Not a lot of hop character. I would say just a little floral, just a hint, and just a touch of spice. Those East Kent Goldings, are just bringing in a little bit of hop character to it. Flavor, which is my favorite part. You're getting a hint of sweetness on this. I like it. I like it a lot. It's got just a slight warmth of the alcohol. It's not real warm going down. The alcohol is not really standing out. But if you're trying to look for it, you'll feel it there. A little toffee in the flavor. Caramel. Not so much the roastiness. If I remember correctly, I did not put any roasted barley in this. I think it was just chocolate and crystal. And then the mouthfeel. Now, it's supposed to be between medium and full body with the mouthfeel. It's more of a medium on this one. It's not a heavy beer. It is good, though. I would say it would have more of a creamy mouthfeel. Just a touch of warmth, and I'm getting that right here in the throat. when it's going down. And the carbonation is actually pretty good. It should be a medium carbonation, and it's in that ballpark. So as I said, this is my new version of my Scotch Ale. I've never added brown sugar to a Scotch Ale recipe, and this one actually called for that. So give it a shot. I used light, and I think I said this earlier in the video, I used the light brown sugar because the dark brown sugar actually put me over the color SRMs, and so I went to the light. I could have changed the malt percentage, lowered the percentage of the darker malt, the chocolate malt, and then I could have stayed with the darker chocolate or the darker brown sugar. But considering I had light brown sugar and I didn't have any dark brown sugar and didn't feel like going out to buy any, so I stayed with the light brown sugar and it worked out perfect. So, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this beer, especially if you're somebody that makes this. Let me know. I'd really like to get some feedback on some people that are actually making the recipes that I make. Like and subscribe. Now we're trying to catch up on all of my videos here because the holidays sort of messed me all up. So we're going to be trying to get back on a good schedule here. But Scotch Ale, good beer. Cheers. We'll catch you people later. Peace.